This means that Kubrick faked the moon landing. This means that it's actually a metaphor for indigenous genocide. Did you know that if you freeze frame here, you can see Stanley Kubrick's face in the clouds? How did Jack exactly get out of the freezer? Well, if we pause the movie right here, we can see that there's a dark spot right there, meaning that there might be a hidden passageway. Oh, no, that's not it. He was able to escape because Danny let him out, because Danny's imaginary friend's name is Tony. You know who else's name is Tony? Tony the Tiger. Where do we see Tony the Tiger? On the cereal box right here, so Danny can shine and look through the eyes of Tony the Tiger on the cereal box in the kitchen to know that his dad is stuck in the freezer and he gets his dad out. Or maybe it was all in Wendy's head. It's the Wendy theory. It's all too much. The Shining. This movie has been analyzed to death. Every single frame has been picked apart bit by bit to find out some hidden meaning, the true meaning, what was Kubrick's vision, because he's a man who makes no mistakes. So when this chair is there in one shot and then it disappears in the next shot, that means something. That genuinely does. But there are other continuity errors that are just straight up continuity errors. There's been an entire documentary made about this, and so many YouTube videos breaking down every theory possible. And I myself am a huge fan of The Shining. I've wanted to make a The Shining video for so long, but I just wondered, what is there new to say? I don't think I have anything new to bring to this discussion about this movie I like. It's a good movie, one of the best movies ever made, dare I say. And so it got me thinking, is there a single piece of The Shining that has not been analyzed yet? So I took it upon myself to rewatch The Shining just to try one detail, no matter how small, that has not been talked about online or in the Shining sphere. The Shining is almost 2.5 hours long, and I did not know where to start. I actually found it easier to rule out what not to look for than what to look for. First, I knew not to really pay attention to any of the clothing items, since, all the clothing items have been analyzed before. People are trying to find out what brand they are, where they can buy it themselves and pick apart every piece. The sweater means the moon landing was faked. The Mickey Mouse represents the loss of childhood innocence. Okay, we get it. So I'm not looking at the clothes. And I also didn't want to tackle any broad imagery as well, like analyzing color, like what does the color red mean? Like obviously people have talked about that before. Or what's up with all the mirrors? I ruled out talking about the music because again, there are several video essays out there that are really good that talk about the music in The Shining. So with all these broad things ruled out, no costumes, no music, no color, no nothing, I knew I had to find a very specific tiny detail that's just in maybe one shot, okay, and then moved on and try and find some meaning in that. So then I tried to find the least memorable scene of the movie. So I was skipping through the chapters on my Blu-ray, and all of them in the thumbnail had Jack in them. And I realized, well, pretty much every scene with Jack in it is very iconic, has been analyzed before, so I knew I wanted to focus on a scene that either revolved around Wendy or Danny, because to be honest, Jack Nicholson's performance is so iconic that it's been talked about, and every scene he's in has been talked about before. But then I found a chapter where the picture is Wendy delivering breakfast. Okay, this seems promising. Let's give it a watch. Okay, so it starts with Wendy wheeling out breakfast that she made for Jack. Okay, this seems promising. She's walking down the lobby, it seems. Oh, but then we cut to Danny riding his tricycle. Of course, Danny's tricycle is one of the most memorable parts of the movie that has ingrained itself in pop culture, so obviously I can't find anything new in this scene, right? Then we cut back to Wendy right outside the apartment with her breakfast. Oh, what's that in the background? That looks like a coffee vending machine. Okay, I guess maybe I can work with that. Let's remember that for later. Then we go inside, and it's the iconic mirror shot where this entire scene is shot through the mirror. And this has obviously been talked about before. The scene has been talked about before. This is where Jack mentions he has some deja vu, like he's been at the Overlook before. And of course, this is very important to many interpretations of the movie, but I think this sequence of events gives us enough to work with. Let's start with Wendy pushing the breakfast cart through the hotel. There's not much significance here, but what I do find interesting is the match cut between her wheeling the breakfast and Danny on his tricycle. Okay, both have wheels on them, there's something here, but what could the wheels represent? Maybe wheels mean more maturity and age. Wendy has one more wheel than Danny. That means she's older. Wendy is working and Danny is playing. Work and play, where have I seen that in the movie before? Maybe there's something there. Maybe wheels represent innocence, because at the end of the movie they escape on a vehicle that doesn't have any wheels, therefore they lost their innocence. But what we do see while Danny is taking his trike around the hotel is a little poster here for a picture walk. Seems a little interesting. I'm not entirely sure what the deeper meaning of that is there, but oh, looks like someone has already mentioned this detail on Reddit, to where someone commented, this is more evidence for the moon landing faking theory. Because if you think about it, picture walk, a moon walk, you walk on the moon, but what is a picture? You're faking the movie of the moon walking. So this detail has been pointed out before and talked about before, so this can't count. Now let's go back to where Wendy arrives at the apartment and we see that coffee machine. Coffee machine in the background. It's the coffee machine right outside Jack and Wendy's living space. Why would Kubrick put coffee so close to them? Well, let's think about it. Jack is a recovering alcoholic. Maybe that has something to do with it. Is coffee bad for alcoholics or good? Wait, let me... It turns out can be either way. Sometimes coffee is a good thing to get over alcohol addiction, and sometimes it can be bad. That's what doctors say, so there goes that. Then we get Wendy entering the room in the mirror shot, and of course everything in the scene has been talked about already, so it's pointless. Wait a minute. Enhance. What is that on the wall? Right there above Jack's head. It's an art piece of some kind? A landscape painted on a stump, a log, a branch, what part of it, what do you call that? Anyway, the landscape looks somewhat familiar though. If only we could get a clearer picture of what that is. Let's get back in the movie to when the Torrances are getting a tour. Boom, right there. This is the clearest shot we get of the art piece. I could be wrong, but the painted landscape on it looks a whole lot like the opening shot of the film, where we're flying over the lake and seeing the snowy mountain in the distance. Now, obviously, it isn't the exact shot that's painted on this log, but they look close enough, right? So what does this mean? That the opening shot of the movie is right there above Jack's head? Well, he says it right there in the scene, silly. It's his deja vu. He feels like he's been there before. Jack sleeping under the opening shot of the movie means he's been here the whole time. He's been here since the start of the movie, quite literally. This ties into what he's told in the bathroom, that he's always been the caretaker of the Overlook.
But you are the caretaker. You've always been the caretaker.
Now, this could be interpreted in many different ways. It can be interpreted very literally, as in Jack, the physical being, and his human body have been in the Overlook for that many years, and that ties into the picture at the end of
1921.
And that his body has literally been at the hotel for decades, and that he's some sort of ghost or evil spirit, or the theory that, it's hell and Jack is being tormented forever in hell. You could also interpret it as an evil spirit possesses Jack, and the evil spirit has been in the Overlook since the beginning, and the spirit has possessed many different people and different bodies, like Grady, and caused Grady to kill his family, and now it possesses Jack and and causes him to kill his family. Or in the loosest terms, you can interpret it as Jack is a bad man, and bad men have always existed. Bad men built the Overlook Hotel. Bad men have always been in charge of overseeing the Overlook, and Jack is just the next guy in the string of bad men who will oversee the Overlook. Either way, what I'm getting at here is that this evil or badness has been here since the beginning, whether that is literally Jack himself or something that is within Jack. Now, if you're thinking I'm reading into this too much, well, first of all, come on, get a grip here. We're talking about The Shining. This is better than Kubrick's face in the clouds, okay? But there is other evidence to suggest that the pictures characters sleep under have some significance. Like if we go back to when the Torrances are getting a tour of the bedrooms, we see that in Danny's room, there is a picture of two bears above his bed. This ties into the whole bear theory, I guess you can call it. It ties into all the other bear imagery, specifically the one at the end where there is a man in a bear costume, and this theory is pretty dark, so I don't want to get too much into it, but basically it draws some parallels between the scene with the man in the bear costume and Jack and Danny's relationship. And yeah, it's pretty dark. And then there's another piece of artwork a character sleeps under that has significance. Let's go to Dick Halloran's bedroom, where we see, well, I can't really show it on YouTube, I'll blur some of it out, but it is a picture of a naked woman. People online have actually found this exact poster, and it's of model Azizi Johari, and guess what? She kinda looks like Pam Grier. And who did Pam Grier play? Coffee. Now this ties back to the coffee machine theory, but okay, I'm joking. But the name of this poster, guess what it's called? It's called Supernatural Dream. Fact check time. So actually the poster above Dick's TV is called Supernatural Dream, not the one above his bed. Does this tear my entire theory apart? No, but it's definitely a blow. And guess what Dick Halloran does in his bed right under this poster? Well, he has a supernatural dream. So if the picture of bears above Danny's bed and this picture of a model above Dick's bed both have meaning, why can't the artwork above Jack's bed also have meaning? So there's the detail I found that it seems like no one else has, that the artwork above Jack's bed looks like the opening shot of the movie, which symbolizes Jack / the evil / whatever you want to call it, has been here the whole time since the start of the movie. Now, I tried my hardest to look online, and it seems like no one else has brought up this detail. The closest thing I could find is that someone on Reddit posted this picture saying that the mirror looks like the Clockwork Orange poster, and then someone in the comments eloquently pointed this out. So that's my log above Jack's head theory, I guess you can call it. Do you like it? Do you agree with it? Have you noticed this piece of artwork before in the movie? Let me know, and I challenge you to find a detail in The Shining that no one else has talked about and leave it in the comments. Or, if you want, make your whole dang video about it and post it online. I'd love to watch it, because this was really fun. If you want some other fun videos about horror movies, check out this playlist here and subscribe, because that's what I make. Fun videos about horror movies.